Good morning to you, everyone. I hope you're doing all right. Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. This is the last word. This is the last say, and we will dissect Newcastle United drawn at Leeds. I hope you're doing all right, everybody. It is currently, believe it or not, 2:30 in the morning as I film this, and this will take me probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to get it edited and uploaded. So down the morning for you. So obviously you will have already seen the match reaction, the vlog, and of course scoring the players. So I hope you've enjoyed them so far. Drop us a massive like. This is what I do on the away days. I'm up all night doing the videos. Something I'm used to down the years. So yeah, we've got quite a bit of talk about, haven't we? So we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about Nick Woltemade because he was there. And then we'll also hear from Eddie Howe. And then we're going to go on to what I want to debate is wingers. And I have discussed that in scoring the players. But not to the extent. And I want to move on to deadline day because we might have one more come in. So let's begin with today, the lineup. And it was really surprising, wasn't it? Eddie Howe absolutely threw us. So it was like, is it five at the back? It looks like five at the back. And it was Sven Botman came in, which was surprising. I wasn't surprised to see Ramsey come in, to be honest. I thought that would happen. And I wasn't actually shocked to say Will Asula start his first Premier League game, to be honest. So that wasn't a huge surprise for me personally, because I thought he would. He scored on Monday against Liverpool, so why not? But it was the system for me. I couldn't get my head around. I didn't know how we were working out. When we're in possession, it looked like it was three at the back in possession, but out of possession, it was five at the back. So it was Trippier on the right wing back, Livermore on the left wing back. But Ramsey was the furthest left of the midfield, and Murphy was the furthest of the right of the midfield, but tucked in so the wing backs can get them down. It was dead man. We're trying to work it out after about 10 to 15 minutes. But I think Eddie Howe got it wrong. You know, it's easy to say that in hindsight, and that's the beauty of doing game by game. You go for the emotions, the rawness, and that's what we do on NFTV. We go game by game. It just wasn't working. Look, Leeds obviously have Sean Longstaff in their side, and ironically, he got man of the match, which doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you. You know what you get with Longstaff. He's just a battle axe, isn't he? He's going to do well for Leeds this season. We didn't offer. I think Murphy had a shot, which the keeper was straight at the keeper. It's easy to save. There wasn't anything there for me. There wasn't any creativity from either out wide or through the middle. I thought Bruno was poor. I thought Tonali was probably the best centre midfielder up until Ramsey went off, because I thought Ramsey was bright. Livramento was bright, but you can tell when Livramento gets in that final third, you could tell he's a defender playing further up, if that makes sense. Whereas Barnes will cut in or Lang will go down the byline and whip it, but I think Livramento wants to come back and tuck in a little bit. The other side, I didn't see enough of Trippier and Murphy getting crosses in. And Will Asula needs service, and I feel for the lad because he's got the opportunity to start. And what was he fed? He was fed crumbs. You're not going to fill him if you feed him crumbs. Didn't even have a slice of bread and out. It was a poor show. And Nick Pope, I can't remember Nick Pope having a save in that first half either. I think it was just a poor game of football. It was awful. Second half, you're thinking, right, how are they? Do you know what? Just take a 1-0 win. We'll take it. We'll take this 1-0 win. We'll get up to A1. Short journey for everybody. Shortest away trip of the season for us. And there was a change at half time. Jacob Ramsey went off. It was just precaution, which is fair enough. Lewis Miley came on. Miley was bright for the first 15-20 minutes. And then there was a couple of changes a little bit later where we've seen Lewis Hall come on and we've seen the Langer come on. Lewis Hall, the good thing about Lewis Hall, the overlaps, these crosses, a couple of them were pretty decent. But Langer was really poor as well. Langer, man. He hasn't started the season off well. He really hasn't. I'll come to the wingers later. And then we're seeing Harvey Barnes come on. And then Eddie Howe changed the whole system, going to 4-3-3, which we know. In all honesty, it didn't really improve it. In fact, it didn't. Murphy had a shot in that second half before that substitution, which the keeper did well to save. I think Pope in the 90th minute had a foot save, which is more or less straight at him. And that's all the chances that were in the game from either side. It was a really poor quality game of football. And people might say, and I heard a couple of journals say, oh, it's the rain. Bollocks to that. The rain makes the surface better. You should be able to zip the ball back better. I'm not having none of that. That's rubbish, that. It, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with it. It was just a poor. And considering we've played so well against Villa and we played so well with 10 men against Liverpool, even before the 10 men, it was really disappointing. Do you know what it is? In fair play, I want to just. The game ended 0-0. It was poor. It was really poor. But fair play to two sets of the fans, where the away fans are and the Leeds fans behind the goal. Leeds fans were absolute class. Absolute class behind that goal. I love going to Leeds. Old school stadium. I love going to Nottingham Forest. Old school stadium. St James's Park, some might say it's a bit of an old school stadium with a bit of modernisation in early 2000. But it's still your British stadium. They make the most noise. Why did Newcastle want a new stadium? I didn't get that. Expand it, but didn't lose the atmosphere. But love Leeds away, absolutely class, and they were bantering off each other. I love the fact that they both sang about Gary Speed. That was class. Love that. Love the bit where they were giving a stick about Geordies, and then Newcastle fans were singing about he's one of your own, Jimmy Savile, and then Leeds was singing back, he shagged Anton Deck, Jimmy Savile. It was just good fun banter between two sets of fans. What you like? There's maliciousness in it, despite them singing about. But anyway, we'll move on from that. It was just that was honestly the highlight. That was the highlight. Isak got a lot of stick. If you haven't seen the match vlog, and I urge you to go and watch the match vlog, because at the end when the players walk off, they're chanting at the squad, not at them. It's about Isak to them. And it was in the concourse beforehand. It was during the game. We don't care about Isak. Hey, he doesn't care about me. All I care about is NFC. That was sang a few times. Isak was sung a few times. It's been the most it's ever been since this carry-on happened. It was nothing abroad about it. It was small spells away at Villa, very small at the end. Not much at Arsenal. It was more in the concourse, and not Arsenal, Liverpool in the concourse, and today it just ramped up a few levels, didn't it? Newcastle fans, let them know what we really think of them. There's no doubt about it, you would have seen that. But on the flip side, Nick Woltemade, I don't think he knew what he let himself in for. Fair play to him coming down. He was stood next to Glenn, who obviously is the player liaison. Baptism of fire, maybe, because he came through the way in. Now, we're not going to show the video because it's copyright, and obviously it's Adam's video from Twitter. He absolutely got mobbed, and he was getting drenched in this luxury suit, and it's absolutely getting pissed on, chucking that down, because it was absolutely chucking it down going into the stadium. He must have thought, what the fuck have I let myself in for, yeah? Gone for the way end, pissing it down. That was class. That was absolutely class, and obviously he's been photographed by Serena as well, and he's posed and all that. That was quite a funny moment as well, to be honest with you. And he seems like a good character as well, judging by his socials, and obviously it doesn't surprise anybody that he speaks fantastic English, and obviously he's going away with the international now at the moment, which is a shame, because Eddie Howe's going to have to wait until he comes back to get him into training. But you know what? We've got a striker through the door, which is the most important thing. Didn't really have too much time to react to that news, because I did one the day before the training ground talking about him. It was almost done, and Eddie Howe had already said that, it's nearly done. So I kind of covered it then. But looking at stuff that he's capable of doing, the way he describes himself, yes, he might be 6'6", but he doesn't have the attributes of a 6'6" striker. He has the attributes of a 5'6" number 10, where he can just go past players. I'm looking forward to at some point in this season him winning the game on his own, because he's capable of doing that. He is capable of doing that. And now that he's through the door, and I've said this a couple of times now, we're not signing a £69 million striker to sit on the bench. Yes, I know he's taking the number 27 shirt. He is going to be starting, regardless of what happens with Isak. Because I think he's ready for that move. Obviously, he's had a couple. Yeah, son? What are you doing? You been asleep? I woke you up. Probably woke him up. I've lost my train of thought now. He's going to start, isn't he? And I think now that he's through the door, do you know what? I'm not that concerned about Isak, because we had to get him through. And look, we do need another one. which I'll come on to after we've heard from Eddie Howe. Take it away.
Eddie, we've talked about the players who aren't available to you. Woltemade is about to be available. What are you hoping that he can bring? What are the qualities that you can tell us about?
Well, he's a really good technician, Kelly. He really, his size will be a talking point because he's obviously a big presence, but he's not really a target man, although he can head the ball. It's his creativity around the box, it's his link play, he dribbles with the ball really well for someone so big, and he's got real creativity around the box. He will find passes that not many other players can see. So I think he can add a dimension that we currently don't have, and I just think generally that will lift confidence as well, because when you feel you have goal scorers in your team, I think the general level of your whole squad goes up.
So are you saying we need to be cautious about judging him just purely on his goal-scoring numbers, that actually his all-round game is more important than just the raw figures?
Well, I think always for us, I think we're looking for multi-talented players, because in the league we're in is so hard. I don't think you want to be one-dimensional. I think you've got to have lots of strings to your bow to be successful in England, and I think he has them, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him play in our team.
Look, I think we need another striker in. Obviously, Jørgen Strand Larsen was injured and Johan Visser hasn't played, but Keith Andrews once again believes that he will stay at Brentford, whereas Wolves manager was saying that he's unsure. So there's only literally a couple of days left. Today, which is obviously now Sunday, and tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll do a video for you if you want. I'm down Bristol City later today. I'm watching the women. I've got press duties. I'm in the press box covering that. But I'll keep an eye out. I've got a long drive home on deadline day because I'm staying over as well. So I'll keep an eye out for some loads of videos. So we need another one through the door, and if we get that second one through the door, I think Liverpool might come in cheekily and try and get Isak. I know there's links to Mark Gahey with them at the minute, but if they were to pay that instalments and we've got two strikers through the door, at this stage now, as long as they hit the criteria that we're asking for, and look, it's the media and the fans all think it's 150 million. It might not be. It might be less, it might be more. We don't know that yet. But whatever. Let's just say the club are happy to then sell him for 110, but there's an extra 20 million add-ons. I'm just throwing a number right here. Or 100 million with 30 million add-ons. Or 120 million with 10 million whatever. Whatever way you want to look at it, right? I'm all right doing that. I wasn't at first. I want all the money up front. But now we've got Woltemade through the door. If we can have another one, yeah. Because if we don't get that other striker through the door before deadline day, we are still running a little bit vulnerable, having to rely on Gordon or Usula as your backup striker. Gordon needs to be out on the left-hand side, and he's away on international duty now, which is probably a good thing for him, by the way, so he can have a little bit of match fitness. And speaking of match fitness, of course, Alexander Isak is in the Swedish squad, so if he stays at Newcastle, that's a good thing, because he's obviously getting match fitness. He's going to have to be integrated back into Newcastle if he stays at it. So it's all of a conundrum what's going to happen. I don't think we've heard the last of it yet. So, going back to the game. Okie dokie. Will Usula didn't get any service today. And Bruno Guimaraes didn't have his best game, but he was sensational against Liverpool. Bruno Guimaraes, I know it's early in the season, but after the international break, I want to see him be more consistent, especially with the Champions League draw. Now we know the home and away fixtures, which I cannot wait to take the channel out abroad again. So I think he needs a little bit more consistency. Obviously, hopefully Joe Linton's fine by that stage as well. But I want to talk about the wingers because I'm concerned about the form of all of our wingers. I don't think Harvey Barnes has started the season particularly well. I think he's been poor. I don't think Anthony Langa, new signing, has actually started the season at all really well. I think he's been just as bad. He was shocking coming off the bench. And he probably deserved to go back on the bench to give Jacob Murphy the opportunity. Yes, Murphy had 2 shots, but Murphy wasn't particularly great either. And now he's had to wait in the wings for Elanga, but now he's got that start. And he didn't impress for me. Anthony Gordon, he's playing for the middle at the minute. We don't want a winger playing for the middle. He's suspended. He's still got another 2 more games. All the wingers have not had a good start to the season. And now people might go, well, why don't you give Park Sung-soo a good run out? I've seen Park Sung-soo play for the under-21s twice already this season. He's been poor. Don't let what you read on social media of people who haven't been in the games or whatever. He's been poor. He hasn't been in the game enough. For me, at under-21 level, he's kind of have to stay there because he's not even ripping them apart. Trevor Sanusi's outperforming him. So in terms of going back to the wingers, what do you do? Because obviously now you've got an international break, which is a great opportunity to probably work with Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes, because Gordon will move back to the winger once he's back from suspensions with England, and Anthony Langa's obviously with Sweden, which will be interesting with him and Emil Kraft and Alexander Isak, of course. Look, the players talk to each other, we know that. They're just not at it. And I think normally when you can scrape a game, you can win a game. For example, if your striker's not on it, your winger might be, or if your other winger isn't, the other one might be, or your number 10 or your midfielder. So we need a bit of consistency. And I'm talking about the captain as well. Tonali is not yet, and I know it's early in the season. I think that'll come. I think the best thing about Newcastle at the minute is with defence. And now we've conceded 3 against Liverpool, but you've also got to consider that we had 10 men when they went and scored that 3rd goal, but kept a clean sheet against Aston Villa. That's been the strength. Dan Burn's been phenomenal. Tino Livermento's been mint. Nick Pope hasn't had too much wrong either. I know he's been given the vote of confidence, but he hasn't. I'm not going to use that word. No, I will actually. Fuck it. He hasn't put a foot wrong. See what I did there? Whoa. I'm just trying to keep it calm because people next door. Look, I'm always trying to say the funny side of stuff. Of course, you have to with being a Newcastle fan. It's all going to focus on deadline day, isn't it? It is, isn't it? I was just, you know what? A point was fair today. Leeds weren't great either. I'm not going to say it. And just touch upon that, just coming off the pitch as well. Sean Longstaff got a great reception from Al. That was really nice for him because he didn't really have the opportunity to say goodbye. And Newcastle fans, I'll come to the Isak stuff in a minute, but after that, Sean Longstaff came round and he got that was class. That was really nice for him and nice for the fans. But so all the best to Sean Longstaff. Just before that, a couple of minutes earlier, again, all singing about Isak. Now, I've seen a couple of people say, well, that's not a great look, but the fans are entitled to their opinions about a player who doesn't want to be here. Now, we've sung about Michael Owen years back when he didn't want to play against Aston Villa. We've been criticising, and he still gets criticised even now. When I see Michael Owen on the TV, like, he's not particularly a great pundit either. But what he did, Isak's on another level. Isak's on another level. Doesn't even want to train, man. Doesn't want to be with the squad, man. Crackers, man. Absolute crackers. So we'll have to see how that happens. But overall, 2 points from the opening three games. Look, we'll bring up the league table and look at early doors, so nobody get carried away. We're not in a relegation battle or anything like that. Of course not. However, we could do for win, and we've got Wolves after the international break at home. So yes, you should have Voldemada starting. You should have Joe Linton back in the squad. There's opportunity for the wingers left and right. For me personally, and I'm banging on about the wingers. For me personally, do you know what I would do in this situation? Over on that left-hand side, I wouldn't even play Bond. I would chuck Alanga over there and give Murphy the start on the right, because I think Murphy at home is a really good player. Personally, that's what I would do. Barnes is not cutting at the minute. And Barnes is a player, when he's in form, you have to keep him in, regardless of Gordon's form. Because Barnes, when he's on form, scores goals. And we don't have many people that can score goals, apart from Voldemade or Isak last season. Because if you take away that, the goals come from effectively, more or less, Gordon. And he tailed off at the back end of last season as well. But anyways, I'm rambling on. If you listen to this, 5 stars on the audio, because this gets put onto podcasts as well. All you need to do is search on your podcast for Newcastle Fans TV. Newcastle Women will come up. The latest news on NUFC and the last word will come up on that. Obviously, we've got the website, newcastlefanstv.com. You can follow us on the socials, Newcastle Fans TV. Join me later at 2 o'clock, where I'll be live inside Ashton Gate. So join me for that later as well. But yeah, that's a wrap from Leeds. I'm going to go and focus on the women. I'm going to get this edit, get a 3 or 4 hours sleep, head down there, go live, probably the last word down there as well, and then hotel there, and then drive home, keep an eye on all the transfers. But anyways, love yous and leave yous. We'll see you very soon here on NFTV. We're there for game.